Okay, we've got him now.
Hello, hello. Can you hear us?
Right. Me myself.
I've got to keep making noise so that we can check they can hear us. It's not usually a problem. Maybe I should hum.
What's that X next to your name?
Hmm?
There's an X next to your name on the left? Down?
No, that's to close it, to
Okay.
cut it out. But you can see there's noise. When that comes on, it means we have noise.
Right.
We've got noise, so you should... Have you got us? Have you got us? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Yes. We have one person. Hello. He's sitting in the back of my class. There we go. I love this technology. We have different students and different people. Do you have a microphone back there as well?
One very bad one.
Yeah. Okay.
That I'm using, so because.
Okay, Lisa, can you hear us okay?
We can, thank you.
Good, good. Good morning. We have a class full of people here. What we were going to do was we were going to show your students our robots.
Fabulous.
Yeah? Okay. Let's get this guy set up. All right. These are our... You want to get them a bit closer? These are our robots. They're called NOW robots, N-A-O. We have 3 of them. They cost around $20,000 each. We unfortunately aren't going to be bringing them to Australia, but we are hoping we're going to do some work with you guys, creating the students who will come out to Australia will work with you on creating a short scene or something using the robots. We'll be bringing the software so that we can program these remotely, okay? Did you hear all that okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, let's give them a shot.
Hello everyone. It is really nice to meet you all. I'm going to perform for you today.
All right. First thing we're going to do is a bit of Tai Chi. They always get that reaction. They're very cute, aren't they? Okay, we'll set the guy up. He's now going to do a little dance for you. There we go. Now we've got 3 of these things, and the idea is we've been doing some work with robot theatre, and I know Lisa's seen some of this. So what you suggested that we do this short little sing together, and we'll talk about that. When we come over there, you know, we'll have a group who will talk to you, and we'll probably start a discussion group about that before we get out there, then we can start swapping some ideas. The important thing, and this is kind of important, we keep it fairly short, and to try not to have the robots moving around too much. It takes a long time to get the movements right, but we can maybe do some interesting stuff. And we'll talk. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? Good. Any comments on that? You guys like the robot? Yeah, they always get a good reaction. What we were going to do today, did you get my emails, Lisa?
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah. What we were going to do today was try and get our groups of students to tell you a little bit about what they've been researching. We're going to see... did you have a rhinoceros come in the room?
Yes, we did.
What we're going to try and do is, I hope, have your students tell us a little bit about the narratives you're involved with, and particularly the technology aspects. And we're going to put your students in a group with our students, one student in each group, and then our students are going to act as kind of researchers, librarians, to give you information. That's not us. Hello?
We're getting a feedback issue.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Go use it.
Let me...
Go to sound.
No, don't know why that was.
Can you turn your Apple volume down?
You okay? So which way? Oh dear.
Oh man, somebody.
Let me just turn those 2 off for now. Lisa, I've just turned the sound off the other screens, and so there's just on me and you at the moment. Okay?
I've done that too.
Okay. Okay. So. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So Lisa, how do you want to do this? Do you want to go first, or shall we talk about what we've been doing?
We'd like to hear what you've been up to, and then I think we need to put some questions to you about the capability of the robots, about whether we're focusing on spoken word, and what kind of movements.
Yeah, well that with the robot.
Keep it simple, stupid, really, don't we?
Well, with the robot project, that's with the small group coming over, but for this session, can we try and talk about what the students in here will do to help your students as researchers?
Absolutely, we'd be interested to hear.
Yeah. Well, let's get some of our students to come up and tell you what they've been doing in their projects then, okay?
Yes, please.
So the last time you talked about singularity.
That was the first one. We did the singularity one, so we want the other groups now.
Group 2, who's in group 2? It's the...
So who's going to come up first? Come and talk to the Australians. Well, one of you's going probably should go first. Come on. Come on. Come
Well,
on.
I mean, I have the webcam, so you can go first.
All right. So sit down, Anthony, sit down. So this is Anthony. Anthony's coming over to Australia. So off you go. You can talk.
Hi, Anthony.
Hey everyone.
You might want to look into the camera. Go on.
So we were working on consciousness and art. And so some of the things we were talking about concerned computer-generated art versus, you know, we thought for something to be considered art, you could have a machine generate something that would function more or less as a kind of manner of Turing test. And so ultimately for some forms of art, that which a human produces and that which a machine produces are more or less indistinguishable on certain levels. And so we thought really hard about whether or not consciousness was a prerequisite for creating art. Certain things factor into that, like intentionality.
Sorry, Lisa?
Slow down a little bit.
Slow down.
Yeah. So certain things.
As I just heard you said that because that some of the outputs of humans and some of the outputs of machines are indistinguishable. Is that right? That we can't distinguish the output of a human and the output of a machine.
Along some lines.
So if the machine is making a mark on the page, or if the human is making a mark on the page, we often can't tell the difference just by looking at the page. Is that what you mean?
Yes. And then with certain representations of abstract art, that becomes more of a sticking point, I think.
You want to talk about the intentionality?
It's a sticking point for whom? Why is that a problem or an issue?
For everyone, because you can't tell the difference. Because one might not be able to tell the difference. I can't speak from the perspective of a seasoned artist, you know, being able to tell or a computer scientist that's familiar with that sort of thing. But there's also this idea of intentionality. A computer can't intend to create art because there is no intention, at least not yet.
So we do not say that the program provides an intention?
We can't say that a computer program decided to create art because it wanted to create art.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
We're just trying to get our sound levels right, because this is an interesting conversation. So you will switch out.
Can you apply it to the robot doing the spell?
What?
Can you apply it to the robot doing the spell?
Doing what? Sorry. No, the dance.
A dance is a work of art.
A dance is a work of art. Oh, the robot
It's
theatre.
consciousness required for artistic expression when it comes to the robot.
So Lisa.
Okay,
So Lisa, this is the question we've been asking, and Patrick's just raised this. So the work we're doing with the robots, and this is my research question with the robots, if the robots perform a work of theatre, is that an artistic expression?
You need to speak into the microphone.
Oh, sorry. So this is the question we've been asking with the robots and the robot theatre. If a robot performs a robot theatre, acts in a work of theatre, is that still a work of art? Will people recognise it as a performance? And Anthony and his group looked at as he said, computer-generated art and the nature of art, and whether robots or artificial intelligence will ever be able to create art. Is that right? A fair question. Summary?
Eventually.
Yeah.
And so you also have to kind of, especially with things like the robot, kind of look at machines as whether they're, whether a genetic algorithm creates its own art, or whether, whether it intended to.
Use the microphone, please.
Can you hear me now?
You got to speak up a bit.
Yes.
Okay. Whether a genetic algorithm or a neural network decided to create art, created it of its own, what might be volition, or just exists as a tool of somebody, like a programmer, for example.
Yes, it's a very important question for some. It's a question of phenomenology.
Phenomenology, yeah. There's a term we've come up with.
It's a philosophical question,
Definitely.
not a practical one.
Okay. Well, let's. Well, I'm going to talk into the microphone. Lisa, we're going to jump to another student so you can see more. There's 6 or 7 groups, so we'll get some more to show you. Okay.
It's a big question, David.
Yeah, it is a big question. All right. Thank you, Anthony. We'll get someone else.
Thank you, Anthony.
Who's
You
next?
raised a big question.
Oh, I think we've got Patricia. Come on, and Aaron. Patricia and Aaron.
Hello.
Yeah, remember to speak you out into the mic.
So what we were working on was we were analyzing a question about if a machine can think, should it be considered a who? And so what we talked about was...
I'm going to point it at you.
Let's use the microphone.
We discussed a question about if a computer can think, would we consider that computer a who? So we talked about how humans anthropomorphize machines due to evolutionary responses to things that are human-like, is that what you would say? And so we talked about how with surface thinking, with calculative thought, people would say a machine who thinks. But when you think about it in more of a meditative kind of way, people start to realize that would be silly to call a machine a who. Sum it up.
Oh, gee. I really like it that you're drawing a distinction between regular thinking and meditation.
So they were.
You're talking about different levels of consciousness.
Yeah,
Aren't we?
and this was very much about the kind of whether people perceive the computers as humans. When we begin to get to that level. So what you're seeing, Lisa, is that each group had to come up with a single, very specific question to research. Yeah?
Yes.
And it's a very multidisciplinary approach. All the students in each group are from different disciplines.
Yep.
Okay? So
Some are from computer science, some are from English literature,
some are from English,
and some are from
some have backgrounds in graphic design. Patricia here has a background in history. So lots of students with different backgrounds.
Yes, we're very interested in the question of human evolution, and Patricia, your discussion suggests that we are so hardwired to recognise human characteristics in other entities that we project onto them.
There's one theory we talked about was the CASA theory. It's computers as social actors theory. And what that says is that humans tend to communicate with machines as if they are a social actor. So they'll get sad if a computer tells them something mean about themselves. They'll get angry if it's not, if they're not helping them, if they're not working correctly. Even sometimes, you'll slap your laptop because it's not running fast enough. They actually will punish machines, giving it kind of this personality. And then we also talked about, do you want to talk about HADD?
Yeah. So the CASA theory, the etiology of the CASA theory is thought, like you said, to go to have an evolutionary etiology. And the basic idea is that humans, for 99.999% of our evolutionary history, have been prey animals, where we've been very conscientious when avoiding predators. And what you see amongst prey animals is hypervigilance, where anything that, any sound that they hear, anything that they do not have complete information about, the automatic response is to assume that it is something that is intentional and is also intentionally harmful to that predator. Basic idea is that predators that do not think like this, and they do not avoid, the sound in the woods next to them, they're the ones that die, and they don't procreate, and they don't pass on their genes. Whereas the ones that are hypervigilant and the ones that infer causal agency in their environment around them are the ones that did survive and pass on their genes. So we've inherited this tendency where if we are met with a computer, which most people do not fully understand in the least, and something happens that we don't understand, we go into the same mode. And it's been given the name the hyperactive agent detection device, where we infer causal agency, we give it a personality, we give it this kind of sociality that it may not have, but we infer it and we kind of put our own thoughts onto it and interact with it as if it were.
Give us that term once more, the hyperactive...
Yeah, the hyperactive agent detection device.
Agent detection device.
Yes.
Can somebody make a note of that in mind? This is very valuable, thank you. Very interesting.
Any questions, Lisa?
So
Ask
we are
them
all
ask them if they've got any
agent
questions.
detective devices, aren't we?
Got some-
Every human
Yes.
shares that characteristic,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Ask her if she's got any questions.
Something we share with the robots. We project onto them and they project back onto us. A bit like the feedback mechanism that's working with the sound here.
Yeah, a little bit.
Lisa, do you have any questions for us before the next group comes over?
Yes, I think we do have some questions. Human characters in our work. Yeah, I think the question for us is to absorb some of these ideas and figure out how it can help us write more interesting drama and comedy.
Yeah.
So the big question from Anthony was the question of intentionality. Does the machine have an impetus, creation, or is this something that is programmed, part of the program?
Well, there was actually something that Damien shared with me. There was this experiment done kind of like, oh my gosh, what's the experiment?
Milgram's.
Oh, like the Milgram's experiment? Well, where they programmed a robot to give some people the right answers to questions, and then the people who got the right questions would, reward and thank and, be happy with the robot. And then they programmed the robot to give another set of people a lot of wrong answers, and it wasn't very helpful. And those people were obviously upset. So the real test came when it was time to shut the robot down. They were told by the experimenters that they need to shut their robot down in order to complete the experiment. But they programmed the robot to plead for its life. And it would say, no, if you shut me down, then I'll lose everything, I won't be here anymore. And the people who were helped by the robot took significantly longer to turn the robot off than the people in the group where the robot wasn't very helpful. So I feel like you could probably get some sort of comedic output from something like that. But when it comes to intentionality, I mean, at least in this experiment, they were programmed to plead for their life. I mean, I personally don't believe that they were actually pleading for their life.
You personally don't believe what?
Oh, that the robots were actually pleading for their lives. I think they were programmed to do that.
Even though they were actually pleading for their lives, You don't believe they were
No,
pleading for their lives?
You don't believe they had the intentionality?
Yeah, the intentionality, I mean.
Well, this is such a sticky philosophical question.
Okay,
And thank you for raising it.
okay, shall we get one more? Who's next?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We can go.
Do you want me to hold the camera?
Oh, sure, if you want to. Yeah, we can talk. I had to navigate around the camera.
Oh, we got a whole group of them coming up.
I've got my
No, just keep it short.
okay.
There's a Carly. Carly's coming over to wave Carly. Carly's coming to Australia. Okay, go on, Tom.
Hi, everybody. Our group we discussed the topic of what is post-human. We talked specifically about. I feel a little put on the spot.
Oh, that's okay. We kind of wanted to talk about the differences between the ideal of the post-human and perhaps current humanity, and especially looking at the past to see if what would be considered post-human today would be us, or if it would still be what we consider to be the post-human. We went into religion, gender, what was over socioeconomic boundaries.
Cultural.
Yeah, a lot of culture.
Cultural like philosophy of things like tools. I know I personally brought up. I brought up the idea of machines. If humans can become post-human through interactions with machines and integration with machines, can machines become post-human by incorporating human elements into them? I use the example of the Terminator, because those I wish I could show the actual. Nice. Yes, that's a perfect example. Because the idea that I meant if you watch Terminator 2, there's a really that's a really fun little trick there. I think I also mentioned the cat bus from My Neighbor Totoro. But yeah, you want to talk, Taylor, so that I don't.
Yeah, we just pretty much are.
Into the microphone.
Oh, yeah. Our big question became, how does our experience just as beings change through our interaction with technology? So maybe not so drastically, but there are significant differences that rise. I think that sums it up.
Yeah.
Any questions?
So,
Any questions?
no, you can take this back. So you can see, Lisa, this group took on a much broader kind of question, and as I said, brought in religion, gender, socioeconomics, all sorts of different things.
Yeah.
Any questions for this group before we go on? Hello. Hello.
Hi. I just think that final scene in Terminator 2 where Honey does that sort of, I guess it's like a heroic, very human thing of subversing himself in the altered metal. And that final scene of his thumb kind of going down metal.
Yeah, what about...
It brings up a lot of questions about what is humanity? Is humanity just characteristics that we haven't seen ourselves, or you know, does it actually come from the fact that we're organic matter, or there's choices that are being made?
Okay, so the question is, taking that example, a very human, emotional symbol, where does that come from? Is it from the human side or the robot side? Is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what the intention of the screenwriter was there, but there's that sense that it's actually it's very human, but
Okay, you're fading in and out a little. You're fading in and out a little bit, but the action's very human. Tom is bursting